Hey guys, let's talk about books. Today, let's talk about not just books, but organizing books. Now, this is something, good English. This is something that I particularly enjoy doing with my collection behind me. I've just today moved my non-fiction books. Most of them, they fit more than one shelf, but most of them are over here with the fiction brothers and sisters, and we're all one big happily book nest family. I'm so pleased, but that's not the point. Even though I'm in love, that's not the point. The point is I wanted to take you through my non-fiction collection. This is just some of them, but I organized my non-fiction collection according to the Dewey Decimal System. So let me tell you about the Dewey Decimal System in case you are not from most of the world. The Dewey Decimal System is, I've got notes over here. It organizes books by subject. So in fact, all the non-fiction books have a place in the Dewey Decimal System. They are all under the 800s for literature. I prefer to separate them out because otherwise I'd have an 800 shelf that is literally just all this, when I could just condense it all and take all the fiction and put it over there. I feel like I'm wobbling a lot. I'm full of coffee and cheesecake and I'm loving life. It's not the only way to organize books. Another really popular one is the Library of Congress method. I grew up with the Dewey Decimal System, and so it just kind of makes sense to me. Like metric makes sense to me, and Celsius makes sense to me. DDC makes sense to me. It was created by a guy called Melville Dewey, who lived in the late 19th century in America. It's still one of the most widely used classification systems used today. Unfortunately, Dewey himself is one of those guys with eponyms where he turns out to be massively problematic, like everything with an eponym. And if you're interested in words and eponyms, highly recommend you check out the podcast The Illusionist. I will link it below, but Helen has so many episodes on eponyms and how they're problematic and how we can go forward without them, and a very interesting podcast in general. Highly recommend. That was a tangent. So anyway, in the DDC there's 10 main classification groups from 0 to 9, and we will go through them as represented on my shelves. I have something from every number on my shelf, which is cool. It's been a long time in the making this, and it's just really nice to have a library collection of the things that you're interested in. I'm going to pull out a book, for example. This one happens to be The Ecclesiastical History of the English People by Bede. That was not deliberate. Its number is 274. So each of the broad categories, like I said, 0 to 900. 200 is, I think, religion. Yeah, 200. So that's the 2. Then the 7 is a drilled down category. Then the 4 is a more narrowly defined category, and then a point, decimal point, and then you can go down as many digits as you choose. This one's 274.2. Let's ask ChatGPT what that particular one is. I'm finding actually ChatGPT, if you're willing to talk to it, is really good at sorting out things like where books should sit on the DDC, and in fact I've been rearranging this whole shelf in consultation with ChatGPT. Does the DDC number 274.2 contain? 274.2, this book should not be here according to ChatGPT, because it is Judaism, clearly the ecclesiastical history of the English people. What a mouthful. It should not be here. As I'm going through these videos, I'm going through these shelves and relocating things, because I've grabbed these numbers usually off Trove or Library Thing. Trove is the National Library of Australia's digital database, which is really helpful, and that's where NLA librarians would have situated it, but that's not always where I want to put things. And so talking to ChatGPT about it is really useful. ChatGPT recommends 270.2, which is the history of Christianity in Great Britain and Ireland, which is probably where it should be, right? Also, before I want to get into my shelf in particular, I want to mention Kelly from Curatorially Yours, another set of words that I always trip up on. who is hosting a DDC reading challenge this year. I'm going to link to her initial video below. She's got that on Storygraph. Super interesting, and she's running a series of videos with suggestions of what to read in each category, which inspired me just to go through my shelves in each category, which we're about to do. Let's do it. I'm going to have to pull them all down now, aren't I? Oh man. I might just pull them down one at a time. That makes sense. So we'll start with the 000s, and appropriately the first thing I have is 001.901, how to think about weird things, critical thinking for a new age. 000 is computer science, information technology, and other general works such as encyclopedias, dictionaries, and atlases. This one specifically comes under the philosophy and theory of knowledge. This one I got, it was a textbook for a university subject I did on critical thinking, philosophy, and logic, so that makes sense. This is still in the zeros. This is 002.09, Keith Houston's The Book, a cover-to-cover exploration of the most powerful object of our time. If you're into the history of books, I recommend this. It is under the history and development of books and printing. This is just great because I think, can you even see? If I go in focus, then I might be too far away. It has even on the cover elements of a book. So binding tape, hinge, author name, the head, the title, this is the foredge, subtitle, the foot, everything like that throughout the book. It's illustrated. Let's find an illustration. That looks like Manuscript. Gutenberg's Bible, page reproductions. All through the history of the book. Okay, this is a new one in my collection. I haven't read it yet. This again, 002.09 in the history and development of books and printing, is Irene Vallejo. I hope she's Spanish. Papyrus, the invention of books in the ancient world. This is translated. Who are you translated by? Charlotte Whittle. Just sounds interesting because I really like books about history and the history of books, it turns out. So I'm actually really looking forward to reading this one, and if I hadn't overcommitted to reading challenges this year, I'd be reading it. Next, we skip, in my collection, we skip 010, which is bibliographies, which is like lists of books and articles and stuff like that, and we skip to 020, which is library and information science. Introduction to Information Science by David Bawden and Lynn Robinson. This was a textbook for my library degree. I didn't finish it. I started it, and then the pandemic does what it says on the tin. Next up is a book that apparently I paid $55 dues for. So that's academia for you. This was another textbook for my information science degree. This number is 025.2, and it is John Kennedy's Collection Management, a Concise Introduction. 025.2 is the management of library collections. This one was a lot of fun. Highly recommend you read it if you're a nerd like me. Dennis Duncan, Index, a history of the... lots of fun about the history of indices in books. And the number here is 026, which is the organization and retrieval of information. Yeah, read it. It's very, very readable. We're still in the 02s because that's apparently where my loyalties lie. This is Andrew Pettegree and Arthur de Weduwen. Sorry. The Library of Fragile History. I've shown this to you a couple of times. I got it for Christmas last year, and its column number is 027.09, which is the history of libraries. I can't wait to read this one, but again, a bit of a chunker. Definitely not an in-bed kind of read. I also noticed, I don't know if you can see that, it's more evident as we get further on this shelf, but as I was rearranging these books today, I found that my cat has been walking along the top of the bookshelf and tracking dirty, dusty paw prints all along the top. Still in the twos, this is Damon Young, The Art of Reading. I'm pretty sure I've talked to you guys about this before, so I will link that video below. 0 to 8.9 this one is, which is books and reading. It's about the philosophy of reading and the ways in which reading can affect our lives, and I really enjoyed it. Damon Young is an Australian philosopher who is very active on Mastodon and an interesting read as well as an interesting person to talk to online. They're getting heavier. Right, we've skipped some numbers. Let me go back on my little notes here and tell you what we've skipped. So we had a lot of 02s. 03 is encyclopedias and books of facts. So I guess something like the Guinness World Records might be in there. Encyclopedias, if anyone still owned them. 040 is currently not used. 050 is magazines, journals, periodicals, stuff like that. I don't have any in my collection anymore. And then we come to 060, which is about associations, organisations and museums. And this one in particular is Museum Policy and Development in South Australia, Final Report from 1981. The call number is 069, which is Museum Studies. And this is basically if you are doing work in museums and museum policy in Australia, you will be familiar with this even if you've never opened it. It's basically the foundational guidelines on how to do museum collection management and develop policies around your museum. And I picked this up for free. They were giving it away from the La Trobe University Library at Wodonga. So it came home with me. Have I read it? Absolutely not. But I'm not giving it away. Then we skip 070, which is news, media, journalism and publishing. I can't think of anything more boring. 080 is quotations. Again, that's what the internet's for. And then 090, which is manuscripts and rare books. And I have the Voynich manuscript, which is beautifully heavy with importance. This one comes under 091, which is manuscripts and rare books. Let me just find you a page. This is a reproduction, a high quality reproduction of every page in the Voynich, and even to the point where it's got, oh man, heft those muscles, even to the point where it's got these replicated fold out bits like the original manuscript does. It's got some explanatory essays. I'm just finding a cool looking page now. It's got some explanatory essays on what the Voynich is, what people have thought that it could be over the years. My favourite explanation is still the XKCD comic, which calls it a role-playing game manual. It makes as much sense as anything else. That is a typical page of the Voynich. And it's got this gorgeous rice paper cover as well. And underneath, isn't she beautiful? This was a Christmas present to my family one year, but it was just, I wanted it, so I bought it and called it Christmas. And you can see why. And there's only one more to go. Oh no! Again in 091, which is manuscripts and rare books, we have Meetings with Remarkable Manuscripts by Christopher de Hamel. I'm so looking forward to this. I've had it for so many years now. It came out in 2016, so this must be from 2016. I would have bought it for me from my family for Christmas one year. And it just goes through some iconic manuscripts and describes them. It has some reproductions. Let's find one. Oh, this is an initial from a Psalter. I don't know if you can see the font there. Maybe I'll see if I can use my magical skills to zoom in. But the font is really nice as well. And I love that in a physical book. It just makes your day. Oh, please don't fall. So that is everything in my 000s collection from my particular shelf. This was a lot of fun. Let's do it again. We've got 9 more categories. I will see you next time. Bye.